bastards with heroes rise. The dying world still modest skies. Pushing ahead with power we fight. Strength that brings you light in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. Just story stone in this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Weakness in my soul, soul and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roll. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Doting spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. The story's told in the storm of imagination mode. With every stroke, the fantasy unfold. Peace of my soul, our soul. Where the brawn meets the brawn. Just stories told in the storm of imagination mode. With every stroke, the fate to fight for. Peace of my soul, our soul.
Why, hello. Ah, my thingy has frozen. That's not good. Okay, it's working here, but it's not working here. How strange. So we're going to have to pause on my hideous face there, and we're going to have to reset this, aren't we? Oh dear, oh dear. Hopefully that resets it. There we go. Ah, dramas all the time, isn't there? You can't get away with it. Ah, happy Friday. How are we, people? Welcome to Minis-N-Muscles, the place where the brawn meets the paintbrush. The place where every week we sit here in this chair, with this map, with this music, we talk geek. Absolutely anything and everything. I've just realised my glasses are really dirty. We chat everything and anything to do with geek. And we have a good old chinwag and a good old conversation. So we might one week talk about Warhammer, and in the next week we talk about Pokemon, and the next week we talk about D&D, and then we talk about everything all in one go, maybe a bit of retro gaming in there, and we really sort of hammer all the subjects. So I hope you're well. Adrian, the die on the right is wrong. The 2 should be opposite the 5. Adrian, I don't care. It's a stock image. I'm not going to bother myself about what numbers should be where. Really. I've got a lot more to... Oh, god damn it. My glasses are still really dirty. I've got a lot more to worry about than where the number should be on the die. But how are you, sir? I hope you are well. I hope you're good. Welcome back to the stream, Adrian. Because you had we had a week off last week because I was stuck in Reading. Couldn't get home. So yeah, that was hideous. So now, there you go, I can actually see. Now we are back. We're back on our usual journey of geekdom. And hopefully you are going to join us too. So let's take away that cable and let's pray that the camera stays going long enough. What are we doing this week then? Well, we've got plenty to chat about and plenty to talk about because it's been a little while since we spoke. It's been 2 weeks, isn't it? So it's been a while and we've had loads of stuff going on, or I've had loads of stuff going on. So let's sort of get a little bit of an update on what's been happening. In the meantime, if you want to drop in the chat and tell me how you are and what's been going on in your life, feel free to stick it in the chat. How has your week been? Are you good? Are you well? Did you do much geekery? There's your question. Stick it in the chat. Let me know. And let's have a good old conversation. So for me, yes, last Friday, apologies. I was meant to be home with more than enough time. I was meant to be home in the early afternoon at 1 or 2 o'clock, but I got stuck in Reading and couldn't get out, basically. So yeah, for conversations for another day, I couldn't get home, which was rather frustrating. But nevertheless, in the meantime, though, I did play some D&D. I have played some Warhammer. Oh, I played some Warhammer last night, actually, and huzzah! Sisters of Battle won last night against the Grey Knights. Close fought battle. But we only played to 4 rounds just because of the timing. We didn't want to overrun any timing. And the Sisters won. Yes, get in the mighty Sisters of Battle. So that was my Warhammer game. What happened in D&D since I last saw you guys? Well, my character died. Willie Johnson, as his name was, the blind, almost 400 pound in weight monk, died, bless him. It was very sad, so I had to create a new character. And my new character is a druid called Sutir. And Sutir is a druid, and he shapes into various different things. His 2 favourites being these 2. A bear, which I've just painted. So I've done that guy, and then also a tiger as well, a saber-toothed tiger. So that's what Sutir changes into, which is pretty cool. I haven't got my Sutir model yet, though. That's still yet to arrive, which is rather frustrating. But nonetheless, still. So I played Dungeons & Dragons. That was very good. It was good to get my new character into the game. That was cool. What else have I been doing? I've been playing a bit of World of Warcraft recently. Adrian's saying he's fine. He's going to see Dorks and Orcs on Sunday. Oh yeah, they've got a live show, Dorks and Orcs. Is it back at the Comedy Club? I can't remember. I can't remember where it is. I think so. I think that's where the last one was. So hopefully that will be a good show that you'll get to see, and there'll be a few good comedians. Dorks and Orcs, for those of you who don't know, is like a live D&D show, but basically they get a load of comedians. So they get a load of comedians on as characters, and then they have a sort of a DM sort of running the session, and it's just a bit of a comedic D&D bit of fun. So yes, very good. Southgate Comedy Club. Okay, so Southgate Comedy Club. If anyone is about on Sunday and wants to see Dorks and Orcs live at the Southgate Comedy Club, then go and see those. They're very funny. So yeah, what else? Yes, I was saying at World of Warcraft, I've got my character, again, weirdly a druid character, up to level 26, I want to say. I think it's 26. And he's pretty cool now. So he's starting, as you progress in World of Warcraft and doing a bit of geekery, you start to learn more skills and stuff, so it's quite cool. JPC is in the chat. Happy Halloween! Yes, happy Halloween to you as well, JPC. I'm wearing my Halloween costume here, of course, of the vest, so I can scare everybody. Yeah, so World of Warcraft has been played. Painted a few models. I showed you the bear and the saber-tooth tiger. I have painted this guy as well. This guy's a proxy chaplain for Warhammer. So there he is there. I don't know if you can see him. He's pretty cool though. But I like him because look at that bloody great big hammer he's got. Yeah. So I quite like this guy. He's pretty sweet. There you go. You can see his staff as well. Quite like him. He's cool. So he's a nice little proxy I painted up for my army. Pell's online saying Merry Halloween, one vest wonder. Wait, I can't afford anything else. I can only buy one vest, so that's all I've got. Yeah, unfortunately. That is all I can do. What else has been going on apart from that? So I covered my game. I haven't played no Fortnite recently with Pell. I got kind of a bit bored of Fortnite. It's just a bit sort of samey, so I haven't really played, but I am going to play this weekend with him, so that will be good. And that's about it for me. What about you guys? Drop it in the chat. Tell me how you've been. Tell me what geeky things you have been doing over the past couple of weeks. Oh, I forgot to say. Jeez, I almost forgot. Pokemon-wise, holy moly. So, got a load of Pokemon cards. As you know, I like to collect Pokemon. And got some cards the other day and pulled the second rarest card out of the Mega Evolutions card set. And it's worth like 600 quid without even getting it valued. So I'll need to go get it graded and valued, so then I can then up the price and then sell it on. So that was very good. Is that the Warthog from TMNT? The Warthog from TMNT? What, on my vest? No, it's very similar. It's just a muscle rhino, but it's very similar. Very similar. So there was a rhino in TMNT, so yeah, could be. Maybe that's where the inspiration came from. Classic 80s cartoons, or 80s or 90s movies. So, without further ado, because last week we not last week, but the week before, we finished off our ogre. So he's all done and he's all sorted. He's up on the side. Hopefully we'll get to play him in a D&D game. So what are we going to paint next? This has been in my pile of shame for ages. And I thought I'm going to get it out because it's got loads of cool things on it. And it is this. It's a Warhammer model, it's a Sisters of Battle model, and it's the Triumph of St. Catherine. So this is what we're going to be painting. We've got to build her first though, but look how massive it is. It is huge. Well, I say huge. It's big in comparison to, say, you know, a Space Marine or, you know, an animal or something. Big in comparison to that, but it's not overly massive. But we've got to build it, so that is what we're going to do on the stream today. Build, and then if we can, might be able to get some of it painted, we'll see. Might even just paint the base just for fun. But yeah, we've got the big old instruction books. We're going to have to cut all the bits out, glue it all together, and during that we're going to have a good old chat about what's been going on, talking about loads of geeky stuff and chatting. So what else? Oh yeah. The 3 parts of the show, as usual. If you don't know, if you're new to Minis and Muscles, well, what you're saying looks a bit static. What? My vest or the model? I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Adrian. But as usual, if you haven't joined us before, there's 3 parts to the show. We have a generalised conversation going on in the chat throughout the whole entire show. That generalised chat is board games. And I've called it the gateway to geekdom. Because I think, genuinely, board games are really cool in the sense that, you know, they're a really easy way to get into real serious geek stuff, whether it's computer games, D&D, whatever. I think board games are the way forward. Nice and quick, nice and easy generally. Adrian's saying the model looks static. Well, I guess steps. I don't know if this picture's better. They're marching down some steps. So yeah, I mean, static in the sense of any model is static, but yeah, it is what it is. But there's loads of parts to it, so that's why I thought it was quite interesting. So for example, you've got to build the sarcophagus that goes in the middle, and then you've got 6 different figures that go around the outside, so each need individually painted. So I thought that'd be quite cool. So yeah, our general chat for today is board games, the gateway to geekdom. And then for our muscle moment, we wouldn't be Minis and Muscle if we didn't talk about fitness. It's about running trainers, choosing the right trainers for you. Then after that, we're going to go into our hobby horror moment. And today's hobby horror is the rule of cool. And we'll get into that a bit more later. So yeah, so our general chat is all about board games. So absolutely everything and anything, of course, as usual, I will have some talking points to chat about. And we will talk all about that. So, Optimus is in the house as well. There's a Pokemon Collectors Fair in your town at the Leisure Centre in January. Planning on going? Yeah, I probably will. I did go to the last one that was there. And it was pretty good. I managed to take a load of my spare cards, swapped a load for a load that I needed, and pretty much finished a set out of it. So that was really good. So I will be going again to that. That was a pretty good investment of my time. Yeah, so let's have a look at the model. Actually, there's not a load of parts, really. There's three sprues. I mean, 2 of them are stuck together in this big one, but you've got this big sprue, and then you've got this little sprue here. So 3 sprues in total of all the parts. So it's not massively complicated. The base is quite cool. So if we look at the base, I have already sprayed it black. But if look at the base, it's got some nice detail on it, so that'd be quite fun to paint. Might even start with that tonight, actually. Although it's not number 1 on the instructions, it's number 1 in my mind. So we might just cut the base out and start painting it just for shits and gigs, really. There we go. So let's just move that to one side. Let's switch to our top-down camera and let's zoom in. There we go. So, there we are. That's the base that we're looking at. In fact, if we go this way, then you'll be able to see it a bit better. There you go. There's our base. Pretty good, right? It's quite a nice base. I quite like that. It's quite a lot of detail from the floor, from each different sort of Sisters of Battle symbol. So there's some plenty. I'll probably keep this cross part. I'm probably going to keep that black with some white detailing and gold detailing. And then you've got the stones to the side and the steps, and they're probably going to be like a sort of stony tan colour, I think. That's what I'm going to go for. But before we do that, let's just cut off these burrs. As usual, when you take a model off the sprue, you're going to end with these little tiny burrs that are on the edge, so you just got to make sure that they're removed. So what we're saying, Optimus saying 70% off army paint. Is that true? What, everything? Crikey, 70%, that's nuts. Wow, if that's true, if there's 70% off army painter, I would recommend absolutely everybody to get themselves a Speed Painter 2 set. Just buy the, if it's 70% off, buy the Ultimate set, you won't regret it. It's or is it Ultimate or is it Mega? I can't remember, but it's pretty big. Oh, it's the Mega set. I've got it over there. Well worth it if it's 70% off. That is absolutely fantastic. That's a real bargain. So make sure if you can jump on and get that. That's really, really good. Oh, let's get that. There we are. All right. Sisters and Inquisition. What even off those new pens? Yeah, that's what I was thinking with the speed paint pens. That would be quite interesting. So those that you don't know, you get 2 types of paint. You get your standard sort of paints that look like this. So your water-based acrylic paints. And then you get what's called speed paints, which are very sort of like more like this, where they are a watery kind of a texture. And they're just quite nice for painting over large areas. They give shadow and shine, shadow and shape to a model. And they're generally quite cool. But yeah, if you can get the speed paints, they've just released speed paints. Rather than being in a pot, they've put them into a pen style with a proper nib, and you can just draw it straight onto your model. So that looks really good. So if there's 70% off them, wow. Oh, actually, Optimus is saying just that outlist stuff, but looks like a fair selection. Probably get a full set. Okay, yeah. I would 100% recommend getting the speed paint set. I don't think speed paints will ever replace standard paints, but they're really good for filling in quite large areas or doing terrain, for example, large areas that require sort of a lot of shadow and depth to the paint itself. So they're super, super helpful. Or you can literally speed paint an entire model and then use your acrylic paints over the top just to add a little bit of quality look, sort of quality look and feel to the model. Because what I do think with speed paints is they don't sort of offer that quality look and feel, unfortunately. Right, here we go. So looking at this, there's loads of these little tiny fleur-de-lises, which is going to be a beast to paint. But I think we might be able to do it fairly quickly if we're gentle, if we're careful. So what we're going to try and do is take the paintbrush and just run it over the top very gently, so we're not pushing the paint across everything like that. There we go. Not bad. Okay, yeah, so this is doable. So without loading your paintbrush too much, take a nice thin consistency of your paint so it spreads and runs well, and just really gently run across the top of these fleur-de-lises, and you'll find that the paint just sticks straight to the shape itself without going all over everything. So quite quickly there we can do, what, 5 or 6 of those at a time. You do have a bigger fleur-de-lis there as well, which obviously takes up a bit of space but makes it easier for your painting journey. There we go. Just got to be really careful not to go in the cracks. That's what nobody likes, going in the cracks, guys. Alright? Don't go in the crack. But if you don't go in the crack, then you stay to the top uppermost element, then you will be fine. There we go. So that's what we're going to go for. That looks alright, doesn't it? Not too bad at all. So what we're saying, how's in the house? Hello, hello, hello. The King of Demons is here. Oh, crikey. Oh, I hope you haven't brought all the demons to the show. We'd rather have godly figures protecting us here, please. Yeah, we don't want to invoke the bad spirits, dude. Not in any way. And we certainly don't want to piss off the Lord and Saviour now, do we? However, I'm glad you're here with us, Hal. I'm glad you've joined. How was your birthday and your new models that you got? So in the Discord channel for Minis-N-Muscles, we talk about a lot of different things, and Hal spoke that it was his birthday the other day and he managed to go grab himself a load of new minis. So how is that going, Hal? Is it going well? Whilst I do this rather painstaking job of doing all these fleur-de-lises. Kind of regretting choosing to do this now, because this is a right nightmare of a job. Anyway, on to our chat for today's video, and that chat is all about board games. So I thought we'd start off with board game memories. What, and I'll repeat that, what was the first board game that you ever played that you have memories of? Stick it in the chat. I want to know, what board game was it? Can you remember the first ever board game you played? If you can't, that's not a problem. Stick in your the first board game that you can you have fond memories of, let's say. So stick that in the chat. I would love to know. So my first board game wasn't actually a particularly geeky board game at all. It was more of just a fun sort of family type game, board game, which is not a problem. It was called Frustration. That's the first one I remember playing, like properly. And it was a pain in the backside, and you did get rather peed off at it. And I think at one point my mum refused to play because I used to get so cross with playing the game. Hence, it had a very apt name of Frustration. But it was a good board game. You sort of took your dice around a circular sort of board. And you pushed the plunger in the middle to see what the dice roll was. And then you moved your moved your counter round the board. And then stopping off at certain ways. If someone ever landed on you, then they could land on you and they'd send you all the way back to the start. And you had to get, I think it was like 4 of your own tokens out of your starting block and to the finish block. And it's not quite as easy as what you think. It was a bit of a hindrance to do that. But it was bloody good fun, and that was the first board game I ever remember. So it's really simple. You don't even have to roll the dice, you just push the plunger, which is in the middle of the board, and then you just move your counters that number of moves that the dice says, and you move it along, and you get from point A to point B. There's nothing in between at all from what memory, apart from the fact you need to avoid other people. So yeah, what we're saying in chat, did you see the Golden Demon Awards? No, I didn't. I didn't see the Golden Demon Awards. Gosh darn it. So we don't paint Golden Demon Awards standard here on this channel. I'd like to pretend that I am, but I am not by any stretch of the imagination. But the Golden Demon Awards, for those of you who don't know, Warhammer does a competition every year for like high painted minis. And when I say highly painted minis, I mean like the best miniature painters in the world attend this event. You know, these people, if they had this model I'm building now, they would spend hundreds and hundreds of hours painting one of the 6 figures on the mini. They are insanely good. You know, and I can't deny how good they are. I just could not sacrifice that amount of time to paint a mini. But if you're ever interested in really high quality painted minis, you know, way better than what I paint, you know, go and check out, just type into Google Golden Demon Award and you'll see them pop up. It's really incredible to see what people can paint and how, and to the level of detail. It's amazing. Honestly, guys, you will be blown away if you've never seen it before. Highly recommend that. Hal is saying, I got more Space Marines. Yes! Adrian's retracted his message, although he is wearing the #1 crown right now. Hal's saying he's got 1,000 points of Space Marines. Brilliant, Hal. What are you going to paint? What colour scheme are you going for with your Space Marines? Are you going to be like me and be an Ultramarine? Or are you going to go with one of the other? Oh, you might be like Adrian, actually. You might choose Iron Hands. So what chapter are you going to go for when you paint your Space Marine army? So Adrian's saying he remembers Snakes and Ladders. Oh yeah, Snakes and Ladders. Yeah, in fact, that probably might have been my first one, actually. I say Frustration. But yeah, now you say it, probably was Snakes and Ladders, to be fair. Yeah, it probably was Snakes and Ladders, actually, for me. Someone else is saying, who's saying? Oh, Adrian's saying, no. Howard's saying chess. Crikey! You played chess. That was your first ever board game, playing chess. You must have been exceptionally intelligent, How, as a child. I could not have played chess as a young kiddie. I wouldn't have got all the rules, and I'd have just got frustrated with it and probably thrown it out the window. I then did own a board game, a chess board game later in life. I still got it, actually. My granddad, he bought like a glass chess game, a chess set, sorry, for me, and then he made a wooden box for it, which was really nice. I've still got that today, even though he passed away a few years ago. I've still got that chess game. So that's really nice. That's a nice little family made cool thing. So what about everyone else? First board game. And if it's something we don't know, I mean, I shared with you Frustration, and I sort of described how Frustration works. And trust me, it was an annoyance and a hindrance and embuggerance to play. Yeah, especially if you played with someone like my sister who loved, like, just bragging because she's, you know, her counter's landed on top of your counter and sends you all the way back to the start. Although I'm sure if my sister was watching this, she'd then say, yeah, and then you probably punched me or something because I wasn't a particularly nice little boy back in the day. Obviously, I'm completely changed now and I'm not like that, but me and my sister get on very well. But as a kid, I wasn't particularly very nice. So I probably would have punched her back in the day. Oh dear. Sisterly, brotherly love, you know, sibling love. I think everyone can attest to being very frustrated with their siblings at some point in their life, right? I think that's just the law. You have to be. Cool. This is actually quite. It's not super time consuming, but it is quite painstaking to be this sort of gentle. To not get paint everywhere. It's actually quite hard. You've got to be ever so sort of tactile with the brush if you're doing this. Remember, key to it, a nice quality brush, and then consistency of paint needs to be quite thin so it runs quite quite smoothly. And then you can literally just gently drag it across the shape that you intend to paint, and the paintbrush itself will find the edges for you, and it generally works out quite nice. Okay, that's not too bad, right? There's a couple of skulls there that need doing, but that's not too bad. What I don't want is like a consistent, straight up Arctic white across everything. I quite like it to be different and different shades of white across there. We've got a couple of skulls in there, which we should probably do as well. So let's just swap out our colour. I have been seen arcane. I have been seen arcane. What does that mean? How is that a board game? I have been seen arcane. Adrian's saying drafts. Yeah, I didn't get into drafts really. You know, I knew people that played it, but it's okay. Drafts is checkers, right? Same. It is the same thing, I'm pretty sure. But that's a sort of traditional old school board game. I have my own charter, and my toe is not so well. Oh, your toe's still bad? Dude, what have you done to it? That's not good. Oh, no. Well, hopefully, Hal, that your toe recovers and you don't feel as bad. Fingers crossed. I'm going to go for a Morghast bone for the skulls that are on this base. Although Morghast bone might be a little bit too close to the colour of the stone itself. So if we look at the colour of the stone itself, yeah, that's quite Morghasty bone. Right, I think we're going to have to abandon Morghast bone on there. We're going to have to go with maybe we will do the skulls in, what about gold or something, or bronze or brass? How about that brass? That'd be quite nice. Like a big contrast between the white and the black, where you've got this sort of brassy metallic colour for the skulls. And there's not many of the skulls here, so it'll probably come out quite nice. Let's get that in there. So, second part of the sort of board games part of life, and why I thought we could chat about it, is because board games are super sociable. It's part of what really I want to sort of convey with Minis and Muscles, is to have a social group, a space where geeks can hang out and chat and talk freely without fear of persecution and whatnot. And I think board games do that too. It kind of draws like-minded individuals in to a certain place, and you can sort of engage in a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun, a bit of teamwork, a bit of conversation, sometimes pitted against each other. But it is a nice social sort of circle. So I really like board games for that. I mean, what's your favourite part of a board game socially? What's the reason why you like it? Drop it in the chat. Why do you like the social aspect of board games? I would love to know. And whilst you're putting that into the chat, I'm just putting this sort of bronzy colour across the skulls. As you can see, there's not many of them. So I think actually this is quite a good shout, this bronze colour. Because it's a kind of standout contrast between the black and the white. So it will be quite visible, providing not too many of the models sit on top of this area completely and cover it. If so, all my hard work will go to waste. That's sometimes what happens, by the way, if you paint a model like I'm doing now without assembling it first. You might paint areas that you'll never see. I mean, you will have the satisfaction of knowing that you've put love into the base, and someone with a keen eye might see where you've put some detail like this in, and they'll appreciate it. However, it might come to the fact that you may be the only person that knows that these little skulls have been painted in a colour. So it's a bit of a risk, but, you know, I think if you're going to do a model like this, do it properly. If it's just let's use Space Marines because Hal was talking about them. If you're going to use Space Marines, that's fine, but that's just, Space Marines are Space Marines. You know, you could do one and not do every single little bit. This is like a centerpiece model. So it's pretty big. As you can see from the base itself, there's loads of things going on in it, and it's quite a sort of eye-attracting model, so I wanted to give it a little bit of love that it should get. Oh, chapters perhaps. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean now. I get a door in it and my nail is dead. Oh, okay, gross. So your nail's going to fall off next. That's the next big thing to happen when you stub your toe. For this centre sort of Inquisition eye that we've got across here, I'm going to put that in gold. Just because I think gold is an appropriate colour. Whoop! Now I'm throwing my paints everywhere. That's never good. Yes, drop it in chat. What is the social part of board games that you guys love the most? What draws you to playing a board game? Why? Answer that question. I need to know. Also, we've got on here, like, some of the squares don't have anything on it. Does it look weird that we've got, like, areas without anything on? Does that look a bit odd? I don't know. Again, drop it in the chat if it does look a bit odd. So let's get this drawn in, coloured in, painted in, however we want to sort of however we want to take it. There we go. Whilst I'm painting this, remember, I want to know from you guys, what is the social factors of a board game that you enjoy the most? What do you enjoy the most about socialising when you're playing this board game? I tell you what, actually, with board games, one thing I find it's very cool about the social side, even in my town where I live, there is a board game club. So you can just turn up, you don't have to know anybody there, you can just turn up and play board games with a load of random people, which is actually quite nice. Because there's no expectations, there's no sort of, worry about finding new people to play board games with. They're already there. I don't know if any of you have those in your local town. If you do, I would absolutely advise you guys go and have a look at your local board game club and see if you could just tag along for one. There might be some strange people there, but there might be some cool people there too, so it's always worth having a look and seeing if you want to go down and play some board games with some local people. It will also expand your social group, so that is a very cool thing. Everyone wants to expand a social group, right? Or you'll just be like me and you'll be in your 40s with, a slack handful of friends and that's it. Because you're a grumpy old man. That's me, by the way. I'm a grumpy old man. There we go. What are we saying in chat then? Let's go. Learning the rules and then strategy. Oh, okay. So actually the social side of it for you then, Adrian, is not as much of a focus. It's more about the rules and the strategy behind the game. It's focusing on playing the game than playing with people. Is that what you're saying? I think so. I think that's what you're saying. But I can attest to certainly enjoying the strategy side of game, or learning how to play the game for the first time and get stuck in. You know, it's such a buzz when you then realise as well that you've actually learnt something in the game. Oh my god, I've just learnt this rule, and you know, it's like when I play Warhammer or D&D or something, and I remember a rule that I thought I'd never remember in a million years. And I'm like, I actually remembered that, and I get all smug for a moment. Smug with myself, that is. There we go. How much of that base are you going to see at the end, says Adrian. Yeah, not sure, Adrian, if I'm honest. Don't know. The models that go on top, they're not massive. So I would imagine you will still see a fair amount of this. Now, what you could do, and I did say this earlier, you could just assemble the model completely. So build the model out completely and then paint. However, it's a bit like when I made a tank the other day and I painted all the inside of the tank. No one's ever going to see the inside of the tank apart from me if I choose to open a door. But I know it's painted. It's a bit like this, right? I know the effort and the love that's gone into painting it. And it's still fun to do because this is all like, you know, enhancing your skill set, isn't it? It's making you better by, you know, doing these little bits. It doesn't matter what skill it is that you're painting, what thing it is you're painting. You're enhancing your own skill level. So, you know, I don't mind allocating some time to doing something that may not be seen in the future, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. There you go. There's the Inquisition eye. That's broke. Oh no, I forgot to paint that bit gold. The broken bit at the top. There you go, because that's actually part of it. Like that. What we saying? What we saying? Optimus is saying, do you think you should have painted the floor under the fleur-de-lis first? That way the floor tiles without them would match. Yeah, could have. I was going with the black and white vibe to start with, and if I'm honest, I didn't see that there was some spare floor tiles. So I just jumped straight in and just painted it. I was just thinking, right, the cross here, which is kind of the cross shape, I would leave black and then have a nice black and white contrast. So I probably will go and choose a colour for these squares, and it will probably match whatever's here. It will probably be a grey, to be fair. I think a grey will probably fit in fine, and that will fill the hole, so to speak. In fact, if we just try that now, I'm going to use Dawnstone for that. So let's try it and see what it looks like. Any good ideas for games? What, board games, how? Is that what you're talking about? Too much logic for Steve, I think Optimus says Adrian. Yes, exactly. Adrian's saying, do you buy the cheaper properties instead of Park Lane and Mayfair? Oh, okay, so everybody has probably played Monopoly, right? That is a great question, Adrian. Great question. Love it. All right, everybody in the chat, get involved now. That is a question that needs to be answered. Adrian is saying, when you play Monopoly, do you buy the cheap properties or do you go for your Park Lane and Mayfair? Your big expensive properties. So what's the tactic? That is a great question, Adrian. Well done. Brownie points to you, sir. But yeah, Optimus, you're right. It's way too logical to think to paint it in the first place. So it gets the grey look. And I don't think that looks bad, right? I think that looks okay. We can do grey. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. That looks alright, doesn't it? Yeah, see? O ye of little faith. Come on, people. Doesn't look that bad, does it? Doesn't look that bad. Yeah, I think that looks okay. You can get away with this. I've just noticed a few of these like broken stones as well in here, which are a little bit more trickier to paint. It's just if you've got one of these yourself to do, just watch out for that. It's a little bit more trickier. I'm going to do the edging as well, so the edging is going to be grey. I think that will look quite cool. So like this, look. That don't look bad. I think that looks alright. Just see what I mean, peeps? Just see how this is slowly coming together. Turn it that way. But yeah, logical thinking when it comes to painting doesn't always happen. I mean, come on, Optimus, you've watched a few shows now. My painting always sort of goes a little bit haywire crazy. I don't often follow the path that you're supposed to follow. You know, that's what gives me my creative geniusness, you see. Don't know what these sort of round blobs are here, though. Don't know what they are. I buy whatever I land on first, says Optimus. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so there are... I do have preferred properties, but generally speaking, I try to get suck up as many properties as possible, as quickly as possible. Because quite often I find that, well, it depends who I'm playing against, I guess. Quite often I find people sort of dilly-daddle on purchasing. And if you can get a few purchases ahead of them, and you end up owning things, you can always trade the properties that you don't want, right? So I think it's always good to get some quite early in. That's my general rule of thumb. Get properties early. There we go. See, that looks alright. What's wrong with that, guys? What's wrong with that? How's deleted a message? I have not played it. Oh, so Monopoly. That's a very popular game, Hal. You're in Sweden though, right? So I don't know if Sweden has Monopoly or its own Monopoly version, but I'm sure it probably does. But you will have to have a look for it, and see what's there. I'm sure Monopoly must be available in Sweden. It's available in most countries. So you'll have to give that a go. I think these are like petals. So I'm just going to sort of colour over them at the moment to get the area that I want grey, and we'll come back and do those petals in red. But yeah, they're petals by the looks of it. Is that plastic black, or did you undercoat the sprue? I undercoated the sprue, as always. That is my go-to. I always undercoat the sprue. Always, always, always. Always undercoat the sprue black. I find black works as an undercoat for 99.9% of models. It helps give depth to the recesses on the models. That's why I do it. I find that it works very well. There we go. Yeah, so it didn't come black. So then with this grey, this is going to sort of go round the edge here, along here. I'm not going to do this centre circle in grey. We'll choose something else for that. But along here as well. So there's not a huge amount of grey to do, really. It's fairly limited. So it's just time consuming. This base is time consuming because it's quite small pieces that you're painting at a time, tiny little bits. You know, you may want to use your geek glasses if you've got some geek glasses, some glasses that have a magnification on them. So it might help. God, I don't know if anyone else where they live, but here, bloody weather, the rain and the wind, really bad. Really bad today. Absolutely chucking it down with rain. I hate the winter for that. I'm not a real fan of winter at all. I'd rather have a steady 25 degrees all year round, if I'm honest. I know people will probably curse me for that, but if I could get a steady 25, oh, that would be nice. That's why I would love to move to America. I'd take an American 25 degrees kind of way of life over the UK weather. Not a fan of the UK or the weather anymore. I used to love this country, but it seems to have changed a big deal. Let's not get too doom and gloom though, because we've got geek things that we can do. And talking of geek things, so gateway games into board gaming. So finding your way into board gaming can be sort of quite a big deal. So you know, you might sort of go to your local board game shop or local sort of geek shop and see the racks and racks and racks of board games available. So thinking of gateway gaming, and here's my question to you guys, so get ready on the chat. What do you think is a good gateway game for board games? So by gateway game, I mean a game that is suitable, easy to learn, quick to play, not rule intensive, that pretty much anyone can do. So, you know, if you're, new to board gaming or old to board gaming and you've played a lot, but you just want something really simple, what is your recommendation for the gateway game, the sort of recommendation to get into board gaming or just to try a new board game out? What's your recommendation? Hit me up in the chat. I want to hear those games. I think everyone has to, whether you like it or not, has to play Monopoly and try it. It's not really my favourite board game by any stretch of the imagination, but it's quite a staple of the board gaming world. It's fairly easy to play. It's not really rule intensive or rule heavy. So I think that's a classic that everyone should try. So yes, if you haven't tried Monopoly, get yourself Monopoly and play it with your family or friends. Apart from that though, I'd say quite a nice gateway game that's pretty friendly, pretty easy to play, doesn't take too long, is something like Catan. Catan is quite an easy game to learn. The first time I played it I was in my 40s, never played it before, and was playing it within sort of 2 seconds flat. It's very, very simple to play. The strategy behind it and to win is not so simple, so that does take a little bit of mastering, but just to play the game itself is pretty easy, right? So what other games do you guys think should be a good gateway game for people? Let's have a little chat about it. Do you stick to the rule of no building houses until you have the set? Oh, that's another Monopoly question. Yeah, you can't build houses unless you have the set, dude. That's just cheating. Yeah, that you can't do that. That's heresy. That's board game heresy. You can't build houses in Monopoly on a property unless you own the entire set. Gosh, what kind of crazy house rules are you playing, Optimus? Oh, you're in Denmark, not Sweden. Sorry, dude. Okay, Denmark, not Sweden. Gotcha. I think we had someone else from Denmark on the channel as well that was watching. Can't remember who they were, but we did have someone from Denmark watching. Oh, I've just painted something grey when it should have been white. Oops. Never mind. We'll cover that off in a minute. You cannot build until you have a property set. Yes, correct, Adrian. See, there's a man of standards. Optimus, what's this? What are these rules you're talking about here? Flouting with the rule book. What else we got? Ticket to Ride or Pandemic are good. Yes. Actually, yes. I would agree with that. Ticket to Ride is a really easy board game to start up. Little tiny bit of maths in terms of counting how long your taxis are. You know, and adding your score up. But it's, yeah, really simple to do. So, yeah, Ticket to Ride is a great starter. Great sort of segue game. Like that, great advice. Pandemic, that's a little bit more rulesy, but not that bad either. So I would stick Pandemic in there. That's good. I like both of those suggestions. So that is good. What else is saying? Inferno. Well, you got to finish Inferno, Hal. Come on. We can't play a game unless it's finished. If it was finished, then you might be able to say that Inferno's really easy to play and it's a good starting game for people. But I've got a feeling, Hal, that it's going to be not a starter's game. I think Inferno might be like a not rules heavy, but more rule centric kind of game than your average. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the vibes that I'm getting from what you've told me so far. There we go. Doing all this little grey patch, like a patchwork quilt this is. Very easy to paint. It's not too stressful. I mean, it's fairly simple. Simplistic lines, rather, that you're following. And with the greys on it and black and white, it's quite easy colours to paint as well. Not that a colour necessarily makes it harder to paint, but because the three colours are... I'm looking for very straightforward, simple colours that blend well. It makes it easier to paint in that sense. Yes, what else are we saying? Optimus is saying, I had a game where all properties were purchased, didn't have a set, and everyone refused to trade, so I was done. Oh, Optimus, there was a game, I know a game, right? And these people played for something like 9 hours on Monopoly. It was ridiculous. I had left the game, someone else had left the game, but these two stubborn twats that were playing refused to stop playing. And it went on for like 9 hours. It was the worst experience of my life watching these two idiots continue to play when others had just quit. That's the only thing with Monopoly. If you're not tight on the rules and you let things slack a bit, and you don't rein it in, it can go on forever. So yeah, it's not good at all. Yeah, that was hideous to watch. That was 9 hours of Monopoly. God. Both the people that were playing were like, "No, I want to monopolise." God, bloody idiots. Yeah, that was an insane watch. I don't know what I did whilst actually they were playing. Probably watched TV. Because that's a bit much, right? You can't watch a board game being played for 9 hours. I don't even want to play D&D for 9 hours straight. I want to break in between. I couldn't play D. I love D&D and Warhammer and all that sort of jazz. I couldn't play any of those games for 9 hours without stopping. Not a chance. Yeah, not a chance. It would be horrible. Don't know what you guys and girls think online now in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Could you sustain a board game for 9 hours? I just get too bored. I love even painting. I couldn't paint for 9 hours straight. Maybe I could actually. Yeah, painting's a bit different though. But I certainly couldn't play a board game for 9 hours, or D&D for that matter, or Warhammer. Like about 4 hours continuous board gaming for me that's about my lot. Then my brain starts to just get fried, and it gives up, and it's like, no, I'm done now. I need something else. Please do not torture me. How long do you guys play board games for? Pandemic and Betrayal at the House on the Haunted Hill, JPC is saying. Yeah, House on the Haunted Hill. You think that's a starter game? I mean, that's quite... actually, I guess as long as you've got, a bit of savvy about you, I think so. Because that's another game I played for the first time in my 40s. Learnt it. It's pretty good, pretty easy, pretty fast to play. And plus as well, because you've got a lot of other players playing with you when you play House on the Haunted Hill, you can kind of learn very quickly from others and what they're doing. So it's not too bad actually. So yeah, maybe we'll class that as a starter game. I've actually got that sat opposite me, House of the Haunted Hill. Very good game. As soon as I played it that one time with my friends, I was like, right, that's it, I've got to buy it. And I went out and bought a copy of it. Although I must admit, it's still quite a pricey game for what it is. It's not really gone down in price for how long it's been out there. Right, there's the grey done. There you go. So that's the kind of shape that the grey is going to be. Don't know what the other parts are going to be yet, but we'll see as we get there. Perhaps paint the fleur-de-lis red in the middle of the goal. Yes, it is going to be red. That is what I was going to do, is stand out. You've got fleur-de-lis little ones around here, which I was going to do another sort of goldy colour. And then, or perhaps the same gold as what the eye is, and then red right in the middle. I thought that'd be quite cool. And very on theme for my sisters as well, which are Our Martyred Lady. And the Our Martyred Lady chapter is black, white and red are the three colours that they use. So very appropriate. However, before we get to that point, we've got to do all these little buggers, haven't we? All these little jazzy things. There we go. Get that one painted in. It's a cracked one, but still looks cool. It actually looks quite nice, actually. This is going to look really nice when it's done, I've got to admit. Even if I say so myself, this is going to be nice when it's done. So all this like extra work, and you know, you're saying, oh, well, is it going to be seen? Do you know what? You might not see a fair amount of it, the base, but the little bits you do, and if you sort of go looking for it on the model, you're going to see all the other areas. It's going to look really smart. So I think this is a good choice. Even if it is a lot of work to do. Plus as well, I like painting these models, so it don't really matter too much for me to sit here and paint them and chat away to you guys about loads of geeky stuff. Currently on board games, so if you've got any board game suggestions, make your suggestions. So we were just talking about games that are suitable for sort of first timers. What about strategy games versus luck games, right? Here you go, next topic of chat. What do you prefer? Do you prefer strategy games or do you prefer luck games? Do you prefer the game where you have to learn X, Y, Z and perfect your method and your way of playing? Or do you just prefer playing games that are very much luck driven? What do you like playing the most? Strategy or luck? Drop it in the chat. Let's hear it. Strategy or luck? What do you guys and girls prefer to play the most? So for me, for me it's scenario based. I kind of like them both. So I think in general, I prefer the strategy games. Games that you have to learn a little bit and understand the mechanics to be able to be good. However, there is also a part of me that quite enjoys playing the luck games. So, you know, where it doesn't really matter too much. And it's kind of like the roll of the dice or the draw of the card or whatever it is. But what do you guys prefer? What's your thoughts on that? Strategy or luck? Optimus is saying, what are your thoughts on Kill Team and Necromunda? Quite like the idea of playing warbands as opposed to large armies. Yes! So, great question, Optimus. Now, I really like the small skirmish games. I've not played a huge amount of them. I played back in the day an old fantasy world one called Mordheim. That was really cool. So that was again a small band group that you had, so you didn't have to collect a massive army, and you pitch your group against your friend's group, right? So a few characters each. I think there's maybe 10 in your team, same as Kill Team. You know, you often in a kill team team you get 10 characters, 10 models. Generally, some are more, but generally speaking, slightly lighter rules on these mini games as well, so you don't have to, you know, really have to absorb too much of a massive rule book. You can get in there with a little bit of a lighter version, so it's easier to pick up, easier to play apparently. I've not played the new Kill Team, so I can't vote on Kill Team or not. But I have played other sort of smaller spin-off games, so things like Blood Bowl I've played, Mordheim I've played. I would really like to play Warhammer Quest. That looks really cool. So that is more of a narrative-based approach where you are one character in a team. So each of the team players, you and your mates, get one character, and you play as that one character. A bit like, you know, in a Dungeons and Dragons kind of way, against the dungeon master, against the baddies. I think that looks really cool, and I'd love to play that. I really want to play Warhammer Quest. So yeah, that's one that I'd really like to give a go. So these smaller games, like you say, Optimus, I think they have a load of value, because you don't... Warhammer, one thing about Warhammer, although I think it's really good, the cost of it is crazy. So the level of investment you have to get just to play a bloody game is stupid. And I don't think, for that matter, it's very newbie friendly. You can't just pick it up and play. You know, you have to spend hundreds, and that's not so good. I mean, if I was playing with someone and they 3D printed a load of things, I'd allow them to play, because you want people to play the game with you, right? You don't want it to be this sort of elitist kind of feel where, you know, you're only going to play against the same people that have got the same army because they're the only ones that have invested hundreds of pounds. You want an environment that is inclusive, that allows anyone to sort of join in and play and have a laugh. That's how I'd want to play Warhammer and stuff anyway. Games Workshop would not like me saying that, you know, I'd condone people 3D printing stuff. But I think to get into it, I think people will still buy the official models anyway, because the official models are really nice. But to get people into it, there's got to be a cheaper pricing point. And they will argue, well, Kill Team and these other sort of mini spin-off games are exactly that. They're to get you into Warhammer. But it's still a lot of money. Even for a Kill Team, it's like, you know, some of these Kill Team boxes are 40, almost £50 for one team. Absolutely ridiculous. And the way Games Workshop churn out new models every 2 seconds as well, and then have you relegate the old model, and the old model now can't be used, and all that sort of jazz, that really gets my goat up. So yeah, so I think mini games, spin-off games are really good. In answer to your question, that's a bit of a long answer, wasn't it, really? But in answer to your question, Optimus, yeah, that was my answer. Lot cool, lot friendly. Necromunda, I've never played Necromunda though. I played it online, and it was cool online, albeit a bit slow. But yeah, I think I'd quite like to give that a go. I think it's pretty cool. I like the setting of it. Hal was saying, oh yeah, I work on the art to the Kings of Hell to Inferno. Oh, nice. So you have to show us the work. Optimus is saying, we way prefer strategy games because if I lose, it's probably my fault. I play Warhammer, so we know it. Yes, very true. Optimus is saying, although I think all Warhammer games are a bit of both. Yeah, but yeah, it's luck of the dice. It plays a big part. You could do absolutely everything right, but if your dice are not rolling for you in a very good way, one turn can completely crush you. And I've had that in games where you've just had one bad turn, and that one bad turn has been enough for you to be completely seen off. So yeah, it's luck and skill for Warhammer, I've got to say. Yeah, what else are you saying? Hey, I know that game. Which game was that? Sorry, mate. I've just lost track of which one we were talking about. You're talking about Warhammer Quest? Optimus is saying, just started an Undead Mordheim warband. Oh, nice! So I had, I think it was humans. I think my mate had the undead one because I think it was undead and humans that came in the box set. But they were really cool. And you, if I remember rightly, you had a certain amount of money to buy certain characters to play in your warband, and you could arm them with certain weapons, and it all cost. So you had to sort of sit there and work out the cost of your militia, so to speak. I'm going back to the 90s here when I remember playing Mordheim, so forgive me if I'm incorrect. I'm pretty sure that's how it worked back then. And I would assume that, because I think they've re-brought it out, right? Mordheim. So I assume it works in a similar fashion. It was a great board game, I thought. Very versatile, very easy to play. It's a bit like Blood Bowl, right? Blood Bowl is another spin-off sort of game where you can just buy a squad and run that squad. You can buy the Blood Bowl dwarf team or the elf team or whoever it is, and you can just run with those. Very easy to play. Games are really quick. You don't need to invest too much money. That's perfect. You don't want to, for starting off especially, you don't want to hammer people into these huge sort of commitments. You want them to sort of be able to taste the game, enjoy it, and then come back another time. It's a bit like getting people to go play D&D, it's all very well and good being super enthusiastic, like someone like myself, but if your players are not super enthusiastic and they're not feeling the vibe like you are, don't then railroad them into playing. Allow them to choose, and if they want to play, they will come and tell you they want to play. Well, this is taking some time, this is, guys. Crikey. What are we doing for time, actually? Oh, jeez, it's 8:20 already. Crikey, oh, blimey, I didn't even realise. Right, best pause for our muscle moment in a sec. I genuinely didn't realise that was the time. Oh. What we will do as well to sort of dull down the white on these is we'll run a wash over the base as well, just so it takes a bit of the sort of fakeness, I guess, of the white off, because otherwise it looks a bit too white, especially where some paint is slightly thicker than where it's been applied in elsewhere. Go. Not bad so far though, that's looking pretty good, I think. What do we reckon? That looks alright, doesn't it? When you get the models on top of this as well, I think it's really important to have to give this base the justice it deserves, because when you get the models on top, they're going to look so bloody cool. Go. Yeah. So Mordheim has been developed by fans since 2004. Oh wow. So it's still going then. Oh, I wish I still had my original Mordheim band. Warband. Mordheim Warband, that's it. Yeah, that was a really cool little game. I enjoyed that. Again, I was very fortunate enough to play. I couldn't afford it as a kid, but a mate of mine got the box set. So he had the box set, and then so we played together. It was just right. Let's split the box. Well, he was very generous, and he allowed me to have the human team. I think he chose the Skaven team, I think. Was it Skaven or was it Undead? It was Skaven or Undead, I can't remember, one of the two. But he had those, I had the human team. So I was very lucky to be able to play it, to be fair. Like, if it wasn't for my mate, I wouldn't have been able to play it, that's for sure. Because it was a very expensive game. Again, that's the point, isn't it? These games from Games Workshop, very good, but crikey, they are expensive. So yeah. Trying to concentrate to finish off this last side before we then go into the muscle moment. Then we've got one more side to do of these little white dots of everything. So I'm trying to concentrate and get as much done as quickly as I can. So apologies if I'm not talking as much. So big apologies, guys. But we will continue the chat. Don't you worry. Oh, don't you worry. We will continue. Right. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Just clear that up. That looks alright though, right? I think the grey and the white and the black looks cool. Bear in mind the steps are going to be this sort of, I think, a beigey kind of colour. So we'll see how that comes out when I try it. But that's what I'm going for. Right, let's just swap over to this way. I can see you. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. We're saying in chat, Optus saying, surprised Games Workshop never released it because they'd make a ton. Yeah. Yeah, I think they would. I thought they did re-release it. Maybe I'm getting confused with something else. Howard saying, I played Blood Bowl. I just wait for the new rulebook so I can make an orc team. Nice. It's a cool game. Really, really easy. Really, really simple. You're going to have to highlight all that black. I don't know about that. The Imperial Fist recruit from the gangs of Necromunda. Oh, yes, yes. Sorry, you're talking lore-wise. Yes. And it's not just Imperial Fists, though, that recruit from Necromunda. Don't others recruit from there as well? Or is it just Imperial Fist? I can't remember. But anyway, on to our muscle moment. We wouldn't be Minis and Muscles if we didn't talk about fitness. We are the place where the brawn meets the brush. Remember that. I love that slogan. The brawn meets the brush. I don't know how I thought of it, but I thought of it. But yeah, we wouldn't be Minis and Muscles. We didn't talk about fitness for 5 minutes. And this week, I thought we'd talk about running trainers. So yeah, there's 5 key points as always in the muscle moment. And the reason why I sort of picked out running trainers is because I just had an experience myself recently where I got back into running. I'm getting back into running and bought some trainers. And I had to buy another pair because the others weren't quite right. So I thought I'd talk about that. So number 1, top tip on running trainers. Fit and comfort first. So we are not on a fashion parade, people. Fit and comfort come first, all right? So the shoes should feel natural to you. They shouldn't be too tight or they shouldn't equally be too loose. You should have enough space for your toes to splay out in the toe box. So that's the end of the shoe. Because you don't want to get blisters and you don't want to end up with, you know, something that's really uncomfortable. So fit and comfort first. Point 2, know your gait. So everybody's biomechanics are different. Some people pronate, so overpronate. So that means the ankle tilts in or the foot tilts in because they've not got an arch in their foot. So they're flat-footed. Like me, I'm flat-footed, so it means that my arch tilts in. So if you overpronate, it means that you might have to have a trainer that then gives you the stability. If you supinate, which means you go outwards, it means that you might need a different type of supportive trainer. Although saying that, neutral running trainers, most people can get away with neutral running trainers. So just before you buy the trainer, because you think it looks really cool, double check that it's at least a neutral running trainer, or the support of the trainer is in alignment with your biomechanics. It's very good to go to a running shop, get yourself on a treadmill, get someone to look at how you run, your running gait, and they will give you an assessment. So it's very important. Cushioning versus stability. So this is kind of linked to the last point in terms of your biomechanics, but also the types of running you're going to be doing. Are you running on the road or are you running off-road? Two very, I know it sounds silly, but two very distinctly different disciplines that require different shoes. So take a moment to think about where you're going to be running most, and then that will help you determine the type of trainer you get. Point 4. Replace worn out trainers. Trainers wear out, people. They don't last forever, okay? The sponge in them degrades. It's something silly like 10 times your body weight goes through your joints all the way down to your shoe every time your foot strikes the ground when you run, right? So if you think about that, and I weigh 90 kilograms or over 90 kilograms, so that for me is 900 kilograms. That's loads. It's going through your shoe every time. So they do wear out very quickly. You will probably get no more than 500 miles if you're doing proper running in a pair of trainers. And lastly, point 5, avoid fashion over function. I always talk about this kind of thing when we're talking about suitable equipment, or even doing exercise in the gym. It's always function over fashion. Avoid the fashion things. Things like Nike, Adidas or Adidas, however you want to say it, or Nike. Generally speaking, I'd say avoid those brands. I don't think they're particularly great for running. Yes, you will find that there are athletes that run with them, right? These athletes are paid loads of money to run, to have these trainers, so of course they're going to. And the athletes get the trainers designed specifically for them. So they might look or appear to be standard off-the-shelf trainers, but they're not. All right, so don't go for flashy trainers that make you look cool in the gym. Go for ones that work. That was my 5 points for the muscle moments here on Minis and Muscles. Let's get back to the painting. So what we're saying here? Oh, Optimus is saying I picked the wrong trainers for my first marathon. Felt like I needed hip replacement after it. Yes, so bad, man. If you get the wrong trainers. It really does mess you up. It can completely... The problem is... Just flick back to here, actually, whilst I answer these questions. The problem is, if you get the wrong trainers, we're talking about biomechanics, they can have some really adverse effects. So, say, let's use my example, right, where I pronate, that means my ankles turn in. If I get the wrong type of trainer, right, and say I get a trainer that's built for someone that supinates, which turns out. So it's actually going to assist and help my ankle to turn in even further. Those biomechanics go from the foot to the ankle to the knee to the hips all the way up the spine, right? So if you're slightly out down there by 1%, you're going to be like 10% out here. So you must always check your trainers. You should buy trainers for your running style and gait. Yes, you should. So as I said, go to a running shop and generally speaking, they'll get you on a treadmill and give you a running assessment. And then you can have a look from that. They'll normally video you and you can see how you run. And they will have trainers based upon that. Trainers should last 6 months. Should, but not necessarily. Depends how much you run, sir. So if you run less or more, they could last in between. But you're not going to get I would say if you're using your trainers properly, you're not going to get more than a year out of them. More than 500 miles, you'd be very, very lucky. Very lucky. Adrian's saying he's an overpronator. Yeah, man. So I'm an overpronator too. Howard's saying, can get some help to some muscles. All of my friends call me fat. Oh, dude. That's not nice, right? Hey, first of all, How, can I say... You are wonderful the way you are. Doesn't matter. Screw everybody else, right? Absolutely don't listen to them. And your friends, if they're calling you fat, that's not nice. They're not your true friends if they're calling you fat. That's an unpleasant thing to say. All right? So, especially if they're saying it in a mean way. If you're talking about your size or your shape and they say, oh, well, how you are a bit fat sometimes, you know, you might want to look at losing some weight, and they say it in a kind way, that's okay. But don't let people talk to you like that, man. That's not good. All right? Don't let that happen. That's not cool. So jump in the Discord. You can always ask me for advice in Discord. I'm happy to give it. Optimus is saying, muscle question. If you could only do one exercise for each major muscle group, what would they be? Oh, okay. Squats is number one. Squats, although is primarily for your legs, actually the squats help the entire body grow. So it's really good for everything. Doesn't have to be where you hold the bar on your back. You could just hold a weight in front of you. You could do it just body weight with your hands crossed across your chest like so. So squats would be one. I would do. Let's think. Oh, it's difficult. Have you got equipment or don't? If you don't have equipment, press ups. If you do have equipment, bench press. Chest, legs, arms. I don't think you can separate the arms and just do one exercise. So I would go with bicep curls, and I would go with kickbacks. So that's where you're sort of bent over and you're extending the arm out to the rear for the tricep. And then for back, I would go with seated row for back. There you go. They would be my key exercises if you're just to do one exercise and that's it. Hopefully that helps, Optimus. Righty, that's the end of the muscle moment. Let's get back to the painting. So that's why we're really here, right? I mean, we love the talk about the fitness, but we're here for the painting, man. So I've just got one thing with Cor. If you use Corax White, which is a good white paint to use, but if you leave it for any sort of prolonged period of time, it separates and goes into a sort of greyy, sort of mushy, blacky, whitey kind of colour. It goes a bit Pete Tong. So you always have to mix it again when you start back up. I think this model is going to look so freaking cool, by the way, when it's done. I've been toying around. So this model that I'm painting, the Triumph of St. Catherine, it's called. So it's a model for the Sisters of Battle Army that I've got. And it's a model that I've never used, as in, obviously, because I've never built it, but I've never thought about using it in an army. But it's such... One thing I love about the Sisters of Battle, I think their models are like the best looking army in Warhammer 40,000, without a shadow of a doubt. The models are cool. They look really, really good on the battlefield. Or even if you're just going to paint them and keep them. The models are brilliant to look at. Every single one is a real good model. And this is no different. This model consists of 6 sisters that stand on top of this base. And they're all saints of the Sisters of Battle Order. And they're carrying a sarcophagus as well, a sarcophagus of another saint. And it's just a really cool mini. You never see a mini like this sort of thing with this. It's more of like a diorama. That's why I like it. It's a very cool model to look at. And then I was reading the rules the other day, and the rules are actually really good for the model. It's still quite expensive. In Warhammer, every model costs points to play it. And they put the price up on this one. And they changed some of the ruling on it as well. So it was sort of everyone was taking it at one point, and then when the price went up and they nerfed it and they changed the rules, then it turned out no one wanted it. And that's when I didn't bother painting it, when they changed the bloody rules before I even got to put it on the table. So I never got to use it in its original form. So I'm a bit gutted about that, but I mean, it's fine. But I thought, sod it. It's such a cool model. I need to get this onto the table. So that's why I chose it. to paint on the show, and also because it's got a lot of aspects to it. So it's got this massive base. It's got, as I mentioned, those 6 different individual sisters, which can all have their own character and style. They're not all identical. Every single one is different. So it just means you've got a lot to look at here in terms of the model and how it then gets painted. So I thought it's prime Minis and Muscles model this is. So that was the reason why I chose it anyway. So anyway, back to our conversation on board games. Hal's saying it makes me mad. Yeah, don't get mad with it, mate. All right. Madness will drive you insane in the long run. It's better to just allow yourself a little bit of space from these people. Don't listen to them. All right. They're not worth listening to. Nothing that they say is going to help you get out of the position that where they're taking the mickey of you. So just don't listen at all. Don't engage with them is my best advice. Optimus is saying, what Warhammers on your Christmas list? Ooh, great question. So on my Christmas list, there is a Warhammer model. Surprise, surprise. And that Warhammer model is the new Ultramarines Marneus Calgar and Victrix Honor Guard. So if you haven't seen that, that's being released soon. It's out for pre-order. So that is on my Christmas list. I have got the old Marneus Calgar. So I will continue to use that until I get the new one. But again, typical Games Workshop, right? The old Marneus Calgar, it was 3 models in the unit, right? Marneus and 2 Victrix Honor Guard. So what they've done now to make more money is they brought this new model out and they're forcing you to buy it because they'll get rid of the old one at some point. And the old model comes now in 3 boxes. You get Marneus in his own box. You get, I think it's 3 Victrix Honor Guard in 1 box, and you get a character who goes with the Victrix Honor Guard in another box. Right, so that's 3 boxes. So where you were paying 30 quid, you know, for the 1 box before, you're now paying about 90 quid for the same squad. It's absolutely criminal. It does pee me off how Games Workshop do this. I think it's so unfair. Like, so unfair to do that. Don't get me wrong, the models are lovely, but Christ alive, they charge the earth for the plastic that they print. And doing that is just... they're purely doing that for money, no other reason. And they make a ton of money anyway. I know companies are out there for profit and that's what they've got to do. I get it, right? But there's taking the mickey when it comes to it as well. It's not good for fans and for collectors alike and all the rest of it. It really is crap when they do that. It does bug the heck out of me. But you know, that is the that's how they operate, Games Workshop. So yeah, and I think the more they do things like that, you know, we were talking earlier about people 3D printing stuff, they're just going to find more and more people 3D print, and less people do official tournaments. They're gonna get to a point where they're going to saturate and push too many people out. Because I know so many players that are like, no, I'm done now. I'm not buying anything else, Games Workshop, I'm finished. I know 2 people in the past month that have bought 3D printers. You know, that says something. When, you know, my Warhammer group is fairly small and 2 of those are now bought 3D printers. You know, that says a lot. Games Workshop are really going to have to wake up and smell the bacon. They recently put a price increase on all their models, every single one. Oh, apart from the old ones, which they're getting rid of. So they put a price increase on them, and they're doing this sort of sneaky thing where, you know, one model becomes, you know, what was one box now becomes 3 boxes. They're going to pee too many people off, in my honest opinion, and that will A, ruin the game, and B, hit them hard when it happens. So yeah, unfortunately they are buggers. Sorry for my rant there. We should be talking about board games, shouldn't we? Not more about Games Workshop's profit margins. What we got there? Model mishaps. Oh yeah. Well, that's hobby horror, you mean? And some of my friends make fun of me for being a furry. Oh, okay. Well, mate, all you got to do is do what makes you happy. Like, if it depends, I guess it depends. If you don't want them to take the mickey of you, or to take fun of you, make fun of you, don't give them the opportunity. So if you like being a furry, excuse me, because I don't really know what being a furry consists of, but I think it's just where you dress up, right? If they take the mickey of you for doing that, don't give them the opportunity to see you do it. Do it in your house. Do it at your house, and don't give them the opportunity to take the mickey. My guess is, mate, is that you're a very nice young man, and you just need a little bit more confidence in how you go about doing things. And if that starts off with, you know, you said that you were overweight, so perhaps it means that you start in the gym, right? And you work on a fitness program. And you can message me in the Discord. I'll happily help you and write a fitness program for you. But if you started in the gym and you know, started watching what you eat and things like that, you will soon find that, because I'm thinking you're fairly young, right? So I think that the weight will drop off you very, very quickly. It won't take much, mate. It will only take a few changes for you to see big results. And if you enjoy being a furry, again, I don't know what that entirely means apart from the dressing up side. So apologies here if I'm getting it wrong. But enjoy it. If you find that people are being mean to you because you do that, then don't give them the opportunity to be mean to you. Take that opportunity away from them. So don't do it near them. Don't do it so they don't know. You can still enjoy whatever you want in your own house, and nobody will ever know. Nobody will have the opportunity to take the mickey of you. And I guess some people will say, oh, you should never hide away what you truly are. And I get that, but ultimately the world is a very cruel place. And yes, people should be accommodating to everybody, but people aren't, because the world is cruel. So how can you combat that unless you're strong enough, you know, mentally to take on that criticism? Then you can go and just do it anywhere you want, you know, and live your life exactly how you want in public. Or if that's not quite where you are right now, just do it in your own home, mate. Nobody cares. Real people won't judge you for doing whatever you do. They'll like you for you. So if you're a good person, they'll like you, and that's simple as. So just concentrate on that, dude. Just be a good person. I think that's the biggest part of life. And again, I get the feeling that you're fairly young, so kids are horrible. If we're honest, kids are mean and they're horrible. So you know, don't listen to them. Adrian's saying the red gobbo for Christmas. I got a red gobbo the few years back. I think 2 years back. I've not got one since, because I've not really thought they were that good. I got the one where he was on the squig. So he's sat there and he's on a squig, and the squig's eating Christmas baubles, which I thought was quite cool. And there was also, in the White Dwarf magazine, there was also a game where you could play. So if you and your mates all got the red gobbo on the squig, you could then play this present catching game or something. It was quite cool, where you just race around a track on your squig, which I thought was quite funny. So yeah, red gobbo is a cool one. I'll probably look out and see if they've got any. You know, quite often they release commemorative minis as well for seasons and for occasions. So I'll keep my eye out to see if there's any commemorative minis. I normally pick those up if they're interesting. Not if they're a load of crap, but if they're an interesting mini, I'll quite often grab it. But I've not heard anything being released for Christmas, apart from Red Gobbo. Oh, well, I've heard of other new units being released, like the new Terminators, for example. I really want the new Terminators. So I like the Terminators as an option for my Ultramarines army. Although they're very expensive, they do last well in battle, so I've found so far. What else is being said? I can't, I'm in the same school and it's not going to leave me alone. I'm not fine, life is hard and I don't want it to be. Think I no one like me now. I don't think that's true, dude. I don't think that nobody likes you. I think that's not true. So yes, unfortunately, Hal, one thing that you will learn is that life is hard. And life is not easy, and that is what life is, and we have to be very resilient to that. You know, things don't come easy, and things aren't just simple. There's very cruel people in the world, and there's very nasty people, and there's very hard things that we have to do. That is the world. It's not quite what's made out half the time, especially on things like social media, where the world is made out to be a really simple place and it's all easy and it's all lovely and lovey-dovey and everyone's all happy. It's not that. And I hate to sound like a bit down about it, but life isn't like that. Life is really hard. So you're not the only one, mate, that is finding life very, very difficult. I guarantee it. You'll probably find that 90% of the people that say mean things to you are finding the world difficult themselves, right? They might not make it known, but I guarantee you they're finding life difficult themselves, because people that do that kind of thing are the ones that generally are finding things very difficult, because they don't understand or know how to talk about things. So you're saying it happens in school. Well, okay, so the first thing is first. My advice, and it's not, anything that is written in law, but maybe if the furry, again, and I have to apologise, I don't know enough about a furry, mate, but my guess is don't wear it to school. Just wear what everyone else wears and just blend in for now, right? And just do what you need to do in school, and then when you get home you can do and say and be whatever you want. If you want to be a Sisters of Battle, or you want to be a Space Marine or whatever, then do that at home, bro. Give people the least opportunity to be able to bully you or to put yourself in a vulnerable position. Like I said, a lot of people will say, oh no, you shouldn't say that. People should be able to be what they want to be. And yes, that is true. However, if you are going to openly be what you want to be in front of everybody, you have to be prepared to take criticism or listen to mean comments, because people are mean and they will do that. So you have to prepare yourself if you're going to put yourself in that position. If you're not ready to do that, then don't do it, bro. Don't put yourself in that position, because it will make it very hard for you. And ultimately, life is a hard place, and you want to try and make things as easy as possible for yourself. So if I could give you any advice, don't make life harder on you. Make life easier on yourself. Sorry about why you tell you this. I talking about end it. No, don't do that, dude. No. Don't do that. Okay. Trust me, Hal. You're a wonderful person. All right. You are perfect the way you are. You don't need to change yourself. You don't need to do anything. All right. Be you. Unapologetically you. That is absolutely fine. All right. And you've got a lot to live for. So do not ever think about the dark side. All right. Adrian's saying, do you have a furry person, Hal? Yes. I see. It is the name. I don't have it on at school. Oh, okay. Right, okay. Alright, so you don't have it on at school. Okay, well that's okay then. So that's good. So at least you're avoiding that. Now, so you've got one issue there, which is you were talking about your weight issue. So now that's up to you. So what you've got to do, Hal, is you've got to focus on being the best you that you can be. Alright? So if that means that you have to look at what you're eating, if you're eating too much or too much of the wrong thing, or it means if you increase your gym time, you have to do that, bro. You've got to do that, and you have to be committed to it. And only when you are committed and you are ready will you see any results. Okay, but you have to take a stand for yourself. All right, nobody's going to take the stand for you. Nobody's going to do this for you. Nobody's going to make it any easier. All the good things in life are really difficult to get. Okay, whether that is muscles on your body, whether that is money in your back pocket, they're really hard to get. Okay, so it's going to be difficult. You are going to find times where you're going through this fitness journey where you'll want to quit, but you can't. All right, you must not quit. You have to keep going. So dedicate to yourself. Adrian's saying, I have a PBEM friend in Germany. I don't even know what that is. Sorry, dude. PBEM. No clue. Who is a furry called Snow Wolf. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Maybe that's something to do with being a furry, I'm guessing. Have no clue. I have only done legs. What, when you go to the gym, you've only done legs? Well, that's a good start, right? Oh, let's do the hobby horror moment. Alrighty, so the third part of the show, when we do it every week, is a hobby horror, where something goes drastically wrong. Okay, it goes all crazy because quite often I'm a crazy individual, hence why I've started painting this base already before I've even built any of the darn models. So, hobby horror moment this week is called the Rule of Cool. It's the Rule of Cool for a reason. So, we were talking earlier about new models and things like that, and I wanted to start my Ultramarines army, right? So, again, you would have thought I'd have learnt from a mistake that I did with my sister's army. I bought just the models that looked cool. I didn't even read the book. What did I do again? I did it for a second time. I went and bought all the models for my Ultramarine army that look cool. Don't be me, all right? There's kind of two thoughts to this, right? Don't be me. Think about the models you're going to buy first before you buy them, okay? So do some research online. Don't be me. Don't just go and buy them. Do research first, all right? The impulse purchases always screw you over. Yes, I look for the cool sculpts, so they look awesome, but actually on the battlefield they don't work very well at all, so there's no point in having them. So, you know, they can look really smart, but actually you want to win the game as well, so it needs to be a balance of looking cool and also being effective on the battlefield. So you must do research first. The Rule of Cool does help sometimes when it comes to painting. So I was talking about how lovely this Sister Battle miniature we're painting is. Right, that helps me inspire me to paint and to build. Although, you know, that's the first part. What about if it just build it and it's so rubbish on the battlefield it just sits there and does nothing? Okay, it will sit there and gather dust, and it'll be a waste of money, right? And not everybody's got an endless pit of money, so be careful there. Collector's curse. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you might be a bit like me and you'll be like, oh, I need that one. I haven't got that model yet. Oh, there's a new one come out. I'm going to get that. Just be careful. Only buy what you need, all right? You don't need to be me and have a stupid pile of shame that you're never going to get through, all right? Worst place ever to be. It's okay to love a cool model, but it's also okay to leave the cool model on the shelf if you don't need it. Trust me, from experience, all right? Don't just go for the rule of cool. Make the consideration about what works best for whatever game it is you're playing, all right? That is my hobby horror moment. Spent far too much money. We've got a couple of last minutes left. We've got 4 minutes left. So what we got? Play by email. What's that then? Play by email? Is that a game? Haven't even got a clue. I do not go to the gym. Right. Okay, so if you don't go to the gym, there's the first thing. You don't have to go to a gym, but it's very helpful because they've got machines there. There'll be experts there that can help you how. But you could just do stuff at home. You can do exercise at home that will help. If you exercise at home, if you go walking and running, okay, you can help your own self and get fitter. Okay, you could do this, right? You could every day you could do 10,000 steps, okay, for a walk. You could go for in the week you could go for 2 runs, 30 minutes, 2 30-minute runs. Okay, so you've got 10,000 steps a day, 2 30-minute runs a week, and you could do 3 sessions at home training by yourself in your bedroom. Okay, in those 3 sessions you're going to do these exercises: press ups, sit ups, squats, lunges, tricep dips, and that's it. That's what you're going to do. 5 exercises. Do those 5 exercises, 3 sets of 10 repetitions. Okay, so that's 3 sets of 10 repetitions, and you do that 3 times a week. Honestly, mate, you're doing your 3 exercises, routines in your bedroom, you're doing your 2 runs, and you're doing 10,000 steps a day, and you're eating pretty healthy. You will lose weight, mate, 100%. Okay, but you have to be honest with yourself. You have a real friend who can help you. There you go, see? Right, there you go. So speak to that friend. If they're going to help you, speak to them. All right? Put the wheels in motion. All right? Get this going, Hal. You've got this. All right? And if you need any support, jump on the Discord like anybody else as well. If you need a bit of support or chat, jump on the Discord. We got like, what, 2 minutes, a minute and a half left of today's show. So I don't think I'm going to paint any more on this one. But I do like how that's come out. I think that looks pretty cool so far. I am contemplating, though, what this sort of stoned area, the colour of this stoned area should be. Box art, it is like a sort of yellowy, sort of this kind of colour. Like a yellowy white kind of colour. So I don't know whether that would work with the colour scheme I've got so far. I'm not sure. So my intent is to use this here, here, and here. And then on the centre, I'm going to go what Adrian said. That fleur-de-lis in the middle is going to be red. But the rest of this I'm not sure. I think this centrepiece might have to be grey. And then, yeah, there might be these lines, the circles around the outside might be some different colours. Maybe a white colour underneath this part. Yeah, so there's a lot to consider, and you've even got broken bits of rubble as well all across, and these tiny little petals as well everywhere. So I don't know if you can see those, but just here, for example, there's a load of petals, so they all need to be red or pink, maybe actually pink. I'll go pink. Yeah, so there's lots to do. There's so much little bits of detail on it. Even on this side, you've got like these little runners that go across here, metal runners and clasps, and they would have held like a rug down these steps, but obviously it's been blown up or whatnot and it's all knackered. So yeah, that would have had a rug there, but these little metal runners. There's a lot of detail just in this one base. That is why I love this model. This model is cool as heck. And I will not have anyone say anything else. Righty. Adrian's saying, play a game like via email where I send in orders for movement and combat against monsters on a map. I email these orders to the DM and he sends me the results back. Oh wow, okay, cool. I've never heard of that. That's pretty cool. I like that. Howard's saying, an Inferno, the rulebook. It is soon going to be the fun thing to make the demons. Exactly. Focus on the fun things to do, right? Don't worry about the rest of life, okay? The rest of life, you'll sort yourself out how you'll find a way. Everybody does, all right? However, all you need to do is just think about the fun things to do. That is why I do this channel. It's not for the money. I don't do it for the money because I earn nothing from it. I do this channel to make a community for people to get together and enjoy talking about geeky stuff, whether it's board games, models, whatever. That's the purpose of this, and that is what you should concentrate when you're at home. Fitness, because it's good for mind and body. Geeky stuff, because it's good for the mind. All right? Get those done this weekend, and that is for everybody, by the way, that is watching this. If you needed tips as well on the fitness thing, watch the video back. Okay, once this is posted live, watch the video back and you'll be able to go through and write down the tips for the fitness sessions I was talking about. If anyone else had any other questions, jump on the Discord. The link for Discord is in the bio of the YouTube page, so look me up there. You will be able to find it. If not, comment on this video and I will get back to you. Don't you worry. After this video is posted, make sure you like and share and tell everyone all about it. It's good to spread the fun and get more geeks into this world, all right? Even if they're not geeks to start with. Maybe they're just muscle Marys and they like going to the gym, but you think they might be a good geek advocate. Get them in here, all right? Let's build this up into something cool. Anyway, thank you very much for every single one of you joining me this week. I appreciate it. The chat's been wonderful. We've had a lot of good chat. Looks like Adrian has stole the #1 crown. Oh, Adrian, you've got the #1 crown now. Will he keep it next week? Let's see. But for this week, at least, Adrian is #1. However, thank you for the week. I appreciate you being with me. We have so far not done a huge amount. We've only painted this. That seems like nothing, doesn't it? But there is a lot of detail in it, I guess. But yeah, hopefully next week we'll get a bit more done. What I might do in the meantime is I might build some of these models out during the week or during the weekend just so they're prepped. And then we can actually get into the painting of it. 'Cause it's a bit more interesting than just watching me cut things out. But apart from that, have a wonderful weekend, all right? Go out, do some fitness, do something geeky. Enjoy your weekend. We don't have a lot of time off in this world. Go and enjoy it. Do whatever you need to do to make you happy, all right? You are the #1 priority. You are all perfect the way you are. I will see you all next Friday. And if not, I will see you in the Discord in between, all right? Prayers going out to you all. Thank you very much. Take it easy. Stay safe. Mucho love. Share, like. Get it all out. Let's have a good one. Stay safe. See you soon.
Minis-N-Muscles, we're heroes, right? The tiny world's nobody skies. Rushing there, where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, light in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. The story's told in this land of imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis-N-Muscles, heart and soul. Guidance in hand and worlds to explore. Roll the future, hear the dice roar. Gaming realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Golden spells casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing on.